A Bad Case of Stripes. Written and illustrated by David Shan. Allie Crayon loved lima beans, but she never ate them. All of her friends hated lima beans, and she wanted to fit in. Allie was always worried about what other people thought of her. Today she was fretting even more than usual. It was the first day of school, and she couldn't decide what to wear. There were so many people to impress. She tried on 42 outfits, but none seemed quite right. She put on a pretty pink dress and looked in a mirror. Then she screamed. Ah! Her mother ran into the room, and she screamed too. Ah! Oh my heavens! You're completely covered with stripes! She cried. This was certainly true. Allie was striped from head to toe. She looked like a rainbow. Mrs. Crayon felt Allie's forehead. "Do you feel all right?" she asked. "I feel fine," Allie answered. "But just look at me." "You get back in bed this instant. You're not going to school today," her mother ordered. Allie was relieved. She didn't want to miss the first day of school, but she was afraid of what the other kids would say, and she had no idea what to wear with those crazy stripes. That afternoon, Nurse Rosie came in to examine Allie. "Most extraordinary," she exclaimed. "I've never seen anything like it. Are you having any coughing, sneezing, runny nose, aches, pains, chills, hot flashes, dizziness, drowsiness, shortness of breath, or uncontrollable twitching?" she asked. "No," Allie told her. "I feel fine." "Well then," Nurse Rosie said, turning to Mrs. Crayon, "I don't see any reason why she shouldn't go to school tomorrow. Here's some ointment that should help clear up those stripes in a few days. If it doesn't, you know where to reach me." And off she went. The next day was a disaster. Everyone at school laughed at Allie. They called her Allie Cream, a night of a living lollipop. She tried her best to act as if everything were normal, but when a class said a Pledge of Allegiance, her stripes turned red, white, and blue, and she broke out in stars. "Look at Kamala! It's got a flag in it!" The other kids thought this was great. One yelled out, "Let's see some purple polka dots." Sure enough, Allie turned all purple polka dotty. Someone else shouted, "Checkerboard!" And a pattern of squares covered her skin. Soon, everyone was calling out different shapes and colors, and poor Allie was changing faster than you can change channels on a TV. That night, Mrs. Jewell, the school principal, called. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Crayon," she said. "I'm going to have to ask you to keep Allie home from school. She's just too much of a distraction, and I've been getting calls from the other parents. They're afraid those stripes red and orange stripe, red and orange stripe, triangles, green, green triangles, yellow swirls, may be contagious. Allie was so embarrassed. She couldn't believe that 2 days ago, everyone liked her. Now, nobody wanted to be in the same room with her. Her father tried to make her feel better. Is there anything I can get you, sweetheart? He asked. No, thank you, sighed Allie. What she really wanted was a nice plate of lima beans. But she had been laughed at enough for one day. Hello? Well, yes, I see. Nurse Rosie mumbled when Mr. Crayon phoned the next day. I think I'd better bring in the 4 girls. We'll be right over. About an hour later, Nurse Rosie arrived with 4 people and long dresses with girls. She introduced them to the crayons. This is Star, Peanut, Bee, and Amber. Then the Nurse Rosie went to work on Allie. They squeezed and jabbed, tapped, and tested. It was very uncomfortable. Well, it's not the mumps, concluded Star. Or the measles, said Peanut. Definitely not chicken pox, put in Bee. Or sunburn, said Amber. Try these, said Nurse Rosie. They each handed her a bottle filled with different 2 multicolored pills. Take 1 of each before bed, said Star. Then they filed out the front door, followed by Nurse Rosie. That night, Allie took her medicine. It was awful. Yeah. When she woke up the next morning, she did feel different. But when she got dressed, her clothes didn't fit right. She looked in a mirror, and there, staring back at her, was a giant, multicolored pail with her face on it. Nurse Rosie rushed over as soon as Mrs. Crayon called. But this time, instead of the 4 girls, she brought the 2 girls. Nurse Rosie said, Bee, Amber, Star, Peanut are here. And 4 girls says, Hi, hello. Hi, hello. And said Nurse Rosie. Nurse Rosie said, Crumbs and Miss Misty were the Lalaloopsy minds in the land. Once again, Allie was poked and prodded, looked at, and listened to. The two girls wrote down lots of cookies and magic shows. Then they huddled together and Miss Misty and Crumbs and whispered. Crumbs finally spoke. It might be a virus, she announced with authority. Suddenly, funny little virus balls appeared all over Allie. Or possibly some form of bacteria, said Miss Misty. Out popped squiggly little bacteria tails. Or it could be a fungus, added Crumbs. Instantly, Allie was covered with different colored fungus blotches. The two girls looked at Allie, then at each other. We need to go over these cookies magic show back at Lalaloopsy land. Crumbs explained. I'll be back when it's soon. But the Crumbs and Misty did have a clue. And Crumbs says, I do have a clue. Me too, said Misty. And Crumbs and Misty said both, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm back. I've got cookies and a magic show. And Nurse Rosie said, good job. And the Allie said, thanks, two girls. And two girls said together, both, you're welcome. But the Lalaloopsy girls did have a clue. Then, when she growing, and Allie starting to sprout it everywhere. Then the Star says she was growing like this, sprouting everything. And Peanut said, yeah, of course it was. But she was growing. Yeah. Or it didn't got chicken pox, Bee said. Or sunburn either, said Amber. But I think she was growing. Yeah, of course. I guess she was not stopped growing. Me neither. Then the Star Peanut said both. Or maybe we could do back to normal later. And Peanut said, good idea. And Misty said, that will make me good idea. Me too, me three, Bea Crumb said with her face. And Allie said, I wish I could do back to normal. Of course I can, said Nurse Rosie. You're growing like that so much, sprouting everywhere. Amber said, yeah, I did have a clue. The clue is really growing like there's sprouting everywhere. Yeah, of course. But the N1 girls did have a clue, much less a cure. By now, the TV news has found out about Allie. Reporters from every channel were outside her house, telling the story of the bizarre case of the incredible changing kid. Soon, a huge crowd was camped out on the front lawn. I like this TV and good news like this channel. Me too. Me three. I guess Allie's okay. Yeah, I guess Allie's really growing. Really sprouting, sure. Or melting the walls. It was really great, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, 这个笑就是外国笑，你呀，Welcome to the TV news with this channel. The crayons were swamped with all kinds of remedies. It's going to talk about from psychologists, allergists, and with this, Nurse Rosie with allergists, herbalists, with Mrs. Jewel with herbalists, nutritionists, Aston New with this sandy starfish with nutritionists, psychics, Scarlet with psychics, an old medicine woman, and then there's a Nurse Rosie with medicine woman, a guru with Sandy, and even a Nurse Rosie, a veterinarian. Each so-called cure only added to poor Allie's strange appearance, until it was hard to even recognize her. She sprouted roots and berries and crystals and feathers and a long furry tail. But nothing worked. Well, anything committed was not. One day, a woman who called herself an environmental Scarlet claimed she could cure Allie. Close your eyes, she said. Breathe deeply and become one with your room. Oh, I wish you hadn't said that, Allie groaned. Slowly, she started to melt into the walls of her room. Her bed became her mouth, her nose was a stairs, and 2 windows were her eyes. The Scarlet screamed and ran from the house. Ah! What are we going to do? Cried Mrs. Crayon. It just keeps getting worse and worse. She began to sob. At that moment, Mr. Crayon heard a quiet little knock at the front door. He opened it. And there stood an old toffee who was just as sweet, as beautiful as a chocolate. Excuse me, she said brightly, but I think I can help. And Mr. Crayon said, yes, you can help. But the alley was stuck in the walls, forever. Oh yeah, you're right. I better go see. She went into Allie's room and looked around. Oh my goodness! What we have here is a bad case of stripes. One of the worst I've ever seen, she said with a shake of her head. She pulled a container of small green beans from her bag. She said, "Here, these might do the trick." "Are those magic beans?" asked Mrs. Crayon. "Oh my, no," replied the kind old toffee. "There's no such thing. These are just plain old lima beans." "Is it Allie's lima beans?" "Of course," old toffee said. "Those lima beans really taste so good." "I'll bet you like some, wouldn't you?" she asked Allie. Allie wanted a big, heaping plateful of lima beans more than just about anything, but she was still afraid to admit it. "Yuck," she said. "No one likes lima beans, especially me." "Oh dear," the old toffee said sadly. "I guess I was wrong about you." She put the lima beans back in her bag and started towards the door. Allie watched the old toffee walk away. Those beans would taste so good, and being laughed at for eating them was nothing compared to what she'd been going through. She finally couldn't stand it. "Wait!" she cried. "The truth is, I really love lima beans." The old toffee smiled. She took a handful of lima beans and popped them into Allie's mouth and said, "I thought so." "Mmm," said Allie. Suddenly, the branches, feathers, and squiggly tails began to disappear. Then the whole room swirled around. When it stopped, there stood Allie, and everything was back to normal. "I'm cured!" she shouted. The old toffee said, "Yes, I knew the real you was in there somewhere." She patted Allie on the head. Then she went outside and vanished into the crowd. Then one day, at the Lollaloopsy crowd, in this alley, with this beautiful crowd, at the front, at the lawn, again. And Peanut said, "Oh, you're back to normal. How you feel?" "I just feel better." "You're not turned stripes again." "No, I'm not stripes again." "Okay, promise." "Okay, I'll maybe promise." "I don't know have I done, Joel." What? "I don't know have I done, Allie," Miss Joel said. "You're feeling better and turned back to normal." "Gee, thanks, Miss Joel." "I really like that back to normal, Allie." "Gee, thank you." "You got back to normal. I watched it all." "Thank you," said Allie and Nurse Rosie. "You even passed out right back to normal, Allie. Looks like it found you for something special." "Thanks." And Barry said, and Barry said, "Guess what? I got microphone." "Really nice microphone. Thank you." Can I echo it? "Sure." "I'm back to normal with TV news and channels." "Good job, Allie." "Thank you." "Muchas gracias." What a good job with this crowd like this. Right, Allie? "Right," Star said, and Allie said. Amber said, You're good back to normal. Muchas gracias, she said with a Spanish. And Cindy and Bee said both. You're good back to normal. Thank you. I don't know with this back to normal. The parents will be so happy about you. You're feeling better. How do you feel? I'm feeling better. Thank you. I guess it's not mumps anymore. Or the measles neither. Nope. What a good job with this back to normal, Ember said. Your Lalaloopsy crowds all the way house and really like this with this stripes. You'll never stripes ever again. Good, said Allie. Thank you. You're welcome, said Amber. And then the Lalaloopsy and Allie, they went back to normal. And with this outside, and vanished. And a crowd. And vanished. And a crowd. Like a fairy godmother. That morning, Allie would like this back to normal. And Allie said, I'll never turn stripes ever again. Some of this Scarlet Red Riding Hood and environmental. And Scarlet said, Oh, Allie, you're back to normal. I'm so glad you're back to normal. Yes, I'm really back to normal. That's really good. Mwah. Thanks for kissing me. You're welcome. And then Misty arrived. And Misty said, Oh, you're back to normal. Thanks, Miss Misty. I guess you don't have bacteria. Nope. There's no bacteria, Squiggly Tails. Nope. You're glad back to normal. Huggies. Thank you. You're welcome. But not long after that, the Crumbs arrived too. Then Crumbs said in a voice, Oh, I see Allie's back to normal. You're glad back to normal with this stripes ever again. Nope, there's no stripes. Nope, not anymore. I guess there's no virus or fungus. No. There's no virus balls or colored fungus blotches. Nope. I'm glad you're back to normal. Look, I'm glad you're back. Thank you for kisses. You're welcome for you. Thanks. Then they all back to normal and a crowd with this Allie got stripes with never see them with stripes again. Afterward, Allie wasn't quite the same. Some of the kids at school said, I was weird. Me too. And both said, we were weird. We were weird. And the kids at school said she was weird, but she didn't care a bit. She ate all the lima beans she wanted, and she never had even a stripes again.